Hey y'all, it's Melissa from The Little Ford That Kid. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to day 2 of my back to school week 2021-22. That's crazy to me. So this week I'm posting a video every single day in honor of back to school. I know if you're a homeschool mom, or if you're not a homeschool mom, I think everybody gets excited about back to school, except for maybe the students. I don't know, my students are excited. Anyway, I think lots of people, I won't say everybody, but lots of people get excited about back to school. So this week, in honor of going back to school soon, we are talking all things back to school. And so today I am talking about our daily schedule, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how that is hopefully going to look for us this year. Some things are the same and some things are different. So if you've seen any of my past videos on kind of how our day goes and what it looks like, it's going to be a little different this year, I think. So stick around, we're going to talk about it. Okay, first things first, I am doing a pretty big giveaway this week, which I'm really excited about. I am giving one lucky person a little goodie bag full of my favorite essential oils for homeschooling. If you have watched any of my videos, probably at all, I probably mentioned this in every single video I ever make. I don't know, but I'm very crunchy. We are very hyper aware of what we put in and on and around our bodies in our home. We're chemical free. We're very careful about our health and all of that. And so essential oils have been a very valuable tool for us for a lot of reasons and a lot of things. But somebody is getting oils. Today's oil is a wild orange. It smells so good. I'm going to spare you all the details of how to enter, and I'm going to spare you all the details of why you want wild orange in your homeschool, because I did a separate video about all the oils that are in this goodie bag. So make sure you check that out if you're interested and you don't know anything about essential oils. Also, I'm going to put all of the details about how you enter to win the giveaway in the description box below of this video and the other videos this week. So make sure you don't miss your chance to win some awesome essential oils. That said, we're going to move on and talk about the daily schedule. Okay, so first of all, I like to consider myself an OCD homeschooler who's also very flexible, which I know makes really no sense, but that's really, I guess I'm an anomaly, because that's really how I function. Like I am very scheduled and very type A and very have to be in control and kind of a neat freak, and I don't know, but I also am very flexible with my homeschooling, and I am a firm believer that if you're trying something and it's not working well for you, then you should change it. So this is what I hope, what I think our schedule day to day is going to look like. But keep in mind, if something's not working, I will change it. So if this doesn't work for us, can y'all hear Hazel? She's really loud, sorry. We have a house pig. If it's not working, obviously we will change it, but this is what we're starting with, and I think it will work because it's got a lot of similarities to what we did last year, which did work well for us. We're changing a few things this year because I have older kids now, and everybody has a little bit larger of a workload than they did last year. So yeah, here we go. So this is our schedule. Now you will notice that you only see one time on this entire schedule right here. We don't do times. We tried times. Times don't work for us. They just don't work for us. So we use a block schedule, and it works much better for us. So basically we have blocks, and we do those blocks in the same order every day. And there are certain things in each one of those blocks that we need to accomplish before we move on to the next block, if that makes sense. The only thing that I have a time by is the second block, because that is our start time for block 2. So we make sure that we start block 2 at 9 a.m. every morning, give or take a few minutes. Sometimes we're early, sometimes we're late, but never super late, like maybe 9:15. And so that's the only time we have. And then everything else is just based on how efficient we are, how much work we have to get done, how many interruptions we have. You're at home. This is what homeschool is about. So the first thing we do is we wake up and we have our breakfast. We do chores, we get dressed, we do all those morning time things. And then our 9 a.m. is when we really start school stuff. And for our 9 a.m. block, we're doing gather round, we're doing our read alouds, and we're having our morning meeting. So for the beginning of the school year, we are starting with botany for gather round. Now, I've mentioned, I think on a previous video, that we don't use gather round exclusively. We use gather round as a supplement simply because we love it, number one, and number two, I feel like it's really good for us to spend time, the 4 of us, doing something together. Even though I have this huge age gap between my children, I just think that they can all learn from each other, and it's just a good thing for us to do. So this year we are going to attempt to do 4 gather round units, a unit per quarter. Like I said, first quarter we're doing botany, and then we're doing a read aloud that corresponds with each of those units. For our first unit, we are reading The Lord of the Flies, and I'm sure everybody is familiar with this book, but no, we're not. Y'all, we're reading James and the Giant Peach with our botany unit. Sorry. We are reading James and the Giant Peach with our botany unit. So in the mornings, and a lot of times we do this while we're eating breakfast. It just depends. We do our read aloud. But so we're going to do botany, and we're going to do James and the Giant Peach. Our other units, gather round units that we're doing this year, I've mentioned before, but I'll say it again, is Creepy Crawlies, which we're going to be reading Lord of the Flies for our read aloud that goes along with that. We're doing Oceans unit, and we're going to be reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And then we're going to be doing the Europe unit, and we are going to be reading A Night Divided. So again, those are our 4 main read alouds for this year that go along. Each one goes along with our gather round units. And then we may do some other read alouds as well. One book that I've talked about on my channel before is called Calling All Minds by Temple Grandin. And I have read it, but I have not read it to my students, to my kids. And really, it's really a book that she wrote for kids. And it's about thinking and creating like an inventor. And it's got all these cool projects and stuff that you can do. And for 2 years now, I have tried to incorporate this, and I haven't done it. I think I overplan read alouds, if I'm honest, because my older kids, because I have older children, they do a lot of reading on their own, and they like read alouds okay for me to read to them, but they like it less and less as they get older. And so I think last year it just kind of started to feel like a chore instead of something that was fun for them, which sort of made it feel that way for me. and I tried to do too much, I think. So anyway, I'm hoping we might get through this year. If you don't know who Temple Grandin is, if you haven't read her books, you need to. She is amazing. I actually got to meet her, and she signed my book, which was like the most amazing thing ever. Anyway, so that's what we're doing in our second block, which is really our first school block. Our gather round, our read alouds, and then a morning meeting. During our morning meeting, we will be just making sure everybody knows what their responsibilities are that day, make sure the kids know what's in their planner, know what they're required to do, know what they need to do by themselves, know what they need to save for us when we do things together, etc., and just make sure everybody knows the plan for the day. That's what the morning meeting is about. And then we move on to block 3. Block 3 is where I do all of my work with Ford that he and I do together. So Ford is my youngest. He is in 2nd grade this year. And so you probably know, if you're a homeschool veteran, that 2nd graders need a lot more of mom's time than, say, a 5th grader or an 8th grader or a 10th grader. So the older they get, they need you less and less. But a 2nd grader still needs his mama or daddy. Some daddies homeschool a lot for a good amount of his schoolwork. And so Ford and I will be working together during block 3. We do his language arts, his math together. We do his writing. This year we're adding writing, which we haven't done before together. So that'll happen together during block 3. And then we're going to be alternating a science unit and a social studies unit that just he and I are going to be doing. So that is also going to take place during block 3. While he and I are working during block 3, my big kids are going to be doing their independent work that they don't need me for. So that's things like their literature, reading, their wordly wise. They both do wordly wise for vocabulary. My oldest son is in Civil Air Patrol, which we treat as part of school, because in order to rank up in Civil Air Patrol, he has to take tests, and there are things that he has to study, and it can be intense. So that's part of school. And then he also sees a speech and language therapist once a week, and he always has homework for her that he has to do. So that's another thing he does independently. So anyway, they do all of those things that they do by themselves and independently during block 3 when Ford and I are working together. Once we are all done with block 3, we move on to block 4, which is lunch. And so we do take a break for lunch. I know a lot of people do read alouds during lunch or do, other academic type things during lunch. We don't. We all need the brain break, quite honestly. So we take a break and we just eat lunch and usually chat together and, take Hazel out to the bathroom or, whatever, play with the birds. And we just have a brain break and make sure we eat our lunch. And then we move on to block 5, which is basically a swap of block 3. So during block 5, I am working with the bigs and Ford is doing his independent work. And now you might say, well, what does a 2nd grader do by himself? You would be surprised. He also does wordly wise vocabulary. So he works on that. He does the good and the beautiful handwriting, so he does that by himself. He also reads. He has independent reading time that he has to have, and so he has books that he reads. He has a journal that he writes in every single day, and initially last year was the first year we did the journal, and initially he really needed a lot of help, and so we did that together. But by the last half of the school year last year, he didn't need or want my help to write in his journal. He really enjoys it. And so he writes in his journal all by himself now. Usually he likes to bring it to me and show it to me, which is great. I want to see it. I want to read it. But he doesn't use my help at all. with his journal. So he works on his journal, and then also we use Night Zookeeper. He loves Night Zookeeper, so that's another thing that he's able to do independently for the most part. He can get on the computer, have a little screen time while also still learning, and he does Night Zookeeper. Meanwhile, while he's doing all of those things independently, I'm working with my big kids. Now, a lot of you I know have high schoolers, and your high schoolers are 100% independent, and the only thing you do is check their work. That does not work well for my kids. I think for a variety of reasons. If you've been on my channel very long, you know that they went to traditional school through the 6th grade. So traditional school methods were obviously drilled into them. That was something they were very used to doing, and so they are not, I would say they're not capable of doing everything independently, because they are, but they actually prefer to do things together. And quite honestly, I do too. We like to do it together. I love history, so we do history together. I love science, so we do science together. And this year they're doing logic as an elective, and quite honestly, I think out of everybody, I'm the most excited to do that class. So I want to do that together. And then their grammar we kind of do together. They do it ahead of time during their independent time. They do the work, the grammar work, and then we talk through it together during our together time. So those are the things we do in block 5. At the end of block 5, all of the schoolwork for the day should be done, and we end with a meeting. And I check everybody's work. So I have a planner, which I'll show you later, and they have a planner. If you're interested in seeing their planners, I'll show them to you. I don't have any plans to include that in a video, but if you'd like to see their planners, just mention that in the comments below. I'm happy to show them to you. It's not like I'm trying to keep you from seeing them or anything. That's just not something I had planned to show you, but if you want to see it, let me know. So I have a planner, they have a planner. And so our afternoon meeting basically is going and comparing planners and looking at the checklists that are in the planners of what they were supposed to do that day, making sure that they did it, making sure they did it correctly. If it's something I can grade really quickly, I'll grade it right then and there. If it's something that takes a little bit longer to grade, then I will save the grading for later that afternoon. Or whenever I have some time to do it, but basically our afternoon meeting is just being sure that everything is done correctly and everything got completed, and then we just clean up all the school stuff and make sure everything's put away and ready for the next day, and then everybody's able to just go about their business and have their free time and do whatever they're going to do in the afternoon. So that is what our daily schedule is going to look like. Like I said, if we get a week or two or a few into the school year and we decide something's not working for us, we will definitely tweak it and redo and change and work it out so that it's working. Hazel, what are you doing? Sorry. We will change it to meet our needs if we need to do that. But anyway, that's what our daily schedule looks like. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's part of the giveaway requirements to enter the giveaway, so make sure you did that. Find me on Instagram at the little Ford that could, and I'll see you guys next time.